Hi guys, here is your 10-minute stretching routine for low back pain. So we're going to start with some lateral steps. We're going to imagine we're stepping over a hurdle in the middle. If you struggle with this, just take lower steps over a lower hurdle or simply shift your weight back and forth side to side. Next we're going to go into some overhead reaches, really stretching out through the back and the side, stretching all the way up, reaching as high as you can. And the next thing we're going to go into is some side to side reaches to incorporate some rotation. We're going to do 5 each side of these side rotations, and just remember to really stretch out through the lower back there. Next we're going to reach up. We're going to inhale and exhale. On the exhale we want to lean over to our right side. Another inhale and exhale there. Coming back up, we're going to take another inhale and we're going to go to our left side. We're going to hold these for about 3 to 5 count and really stretch out through the side. Next we're going to go into our star reaches. We're going to reach wide and high to the ceiling and then down to the floor. When you reach up to the ceiling, you might feel this stretch in your abs or your chest, maybe in your quads as well. And when you reach down, you might feel it in your hamstrings and your back. Remember that a good stretch is good. We want a stretch, but if you feel any pain during these exercises, maybe slow down a bit and don't stretch quite as far. After finishing the 6th one up and down on that side, we're going to go to the other leg and do 6th on that side too. So up we've got 3 left, back down, up for 2 left, back down, 1, last 1, and now we're going to go into some marches. With the marches we want to make sure we get our knees up. We're going to do 8 total before we go into some lateral marches. We're going to bring our hips back, our knees backwards, rotating through. You should be feeling warm because we're nearing the end of our warm-up. Okay, for this next exercise, we're going to first demonstrate our leg position. We're going to take our right foot and ankle and we're going to put it over our left knee. We're going to be holding onto the chair for this, but to actually perform the exercise, we're going to face the chair. We're going to go into that position and we are going to flex at the trunk. We're going to take our trunk towards the floor and then we're going to come up out of this. We're going to do 8 total of these, and on the last one we're going to hold for a 10 count. You should be feeling this stretch in the folded leg, kind of up in the glute area as well as in the lats on the side. Okay, so we've got 3 more. 3, come into it, come out of it, come back in for 2. Here comes the last one. Remember, we're going to hold for a 10 count. So we'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next we're going to switch legs, going into that same leg position, and we're going to do 8 more on this side, holding for a 10 count on the last one. Keep remembering, if you feel any pain with these exercises or a bad stretch, that we can modify them and not go into as much of a stretch. So in this one you would not flex towards the floor as much, stay a little bit more upright, not stretching that hip too much. We've got 3 left, so 3, 2, down into it, come back out, 1 left, holding this last one for a 10 count. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next we're going to walk our feet back from the chair. We're going to lengthen through our arms and we're going to take our chest and pull it down to the floor. We're going to do 5 of these nice and slow, breathing in on the way down and out on the way up. We've got 2 left, and then we're going to hold this last one for a few extra seconds, just really getting a good stretch. Okay, next we're going to cross our right hand over our left and our left foot over our right, and we're going to lean back and shoot our hip out to the right. You really want to shoot our hip out and back to really get a good stretch in that lat or your side. And if you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can bend your knees and this should stretch through the hip a little bit more. Good. And we're going to come in and out of this pressing our chest down to the floor and then coming back out. And on the last one we're going to hold before we switch sides. So now we're going to switch and we're going to take our right foot over our left and our left hand over our right, and we're going to do the same thing, really lengthening through the side and bending at the knee for a stretch of that hip. We're going to go in and out of this about 5 times before holding on the last one again for about a 5 count, and then we're going to switch exercises. Okay, next we're going to go into a forward fold. We're going to start by taking our hands to the sky. On the inhale and on the exhale, we'll take our hands to the mat. You can bend your knees if that stretch in the hamstring is a little bit too much, or you can have straight legs if you like that stretch in the hamstrings. You can fall in and out of the bent knees if that's what feels best to you, just looking for a really good stretch in the hamstrings here on the back of your legs. Next we're going to take our right leg back, followed by our left leg, and then we're going to drop down to the floor, taking our chest to the floor. You can start by dropping your knees if that push-up is going to be a little bit too much for you. So we'll drop our chest, and next we're going to raise our chest by extending through our arms. We're going to hold this for about a 5 count. Make sure to keep breathing through all of this. Next we're going to tuck our toes under and we're going to push into downward dog. In this downward dog position we can pedal our feet, really pushing back and getting a stretch in the calves and the hamstrings. We're going to hold this for about 5 more seconds. Keep pedaling the feet, really getting a good stretch in the legs. Next we're going to drop out of downward dog. We're going to kick our left leg forward into a forward lunge. And while we're in this lunge, we're going to really focus on lengthening through the chest, really sitting tall, and we're going to push through that front leg, really pushing the hips forward, feeling a stretch in that back quad. We're going to lunge in and out of this position. Doing a great job. We're going to keep going with this for 1 more second. Next we're going to place our right hand on the ground and we're going to open towards that front leg. Really opening through the chest, getting some rotation through the chest and lower back here. Next we're going to put that hand on the ground. We're going to tuck our rear toe under. We're going to come up into that lunge and kick that left leg back into that downward dog position. Here we can pedal our feet again. We're going to hold it for a little bit longer. Really feeling a stretch in the hamstrings and the calves here again. Try to get those heels on the ground if you can. And next we're going to kick our right foot up through our hands, putting that left knee on the ground. We're going to do that same lunge into that front leg here, really pushing those hips forward, focusing on keeping that chest high. Lunge in and out of here, feeling that stretch in the rear leg. Doing great. We're going to put our left hand on the ground, raise our right hand to the ceiling, opening up through the chest. Really reaching to the sky here, wanting you to feel that in the chest, maybe the abs, kind of in the hips. We're going to drop both hands down now, kicking that right leg back. We're going to drop into a hands and knees position here. We'll do some cat-cow. So for the cat, we want you to raise that back up towards the ceiling. And then we'll go into the cow where you bring that chest down towards the floor. This is really working on some mobility in that mid to lower back. We're going to do 3 of these, both up and down. Really focusing on pulling that back up and then dropping that chest back down. Okay, finishing up that last one. Next we're going to go into a seated position. We're going to long sit with both legs stretched out in front of you together. We're going to bring the hands up, inhale. Next we're going to drop down and touch our toes on the exhale. If you can't quite get to your toes, just go to about your mid-shins, feeling a good stretch in the hamstrings here. We're going to hold this for about 10 seconds. Really get that good stretch. Go as deep as you can. No pain. You want to feel a good stretch. You can sit up tall. Next we're going to bring our left leg over our right. We're going to kind of hug that knee, and we're going to reach for the sky with that right hand. We're going to hold that reach, stretch to the back, and we're going to drop that elbow onto that left knee, and we're going to twist through our back. Twist until you feel a good stretch. Kind of look at the wall behind you. Push into that stretch a little bit more if you can. Doing a good job. We're going to hold this for a few seconds, and then we're going to drop that right hand back. Stretch out that left leg, and we're going to kick our right leg over our left here. Doing the same, we're going to reach to the sky. Hold that for a second. We're going to drop that left arm down, twisting through the back here, looking at that rear wall behind you. Hold this good stretch through the back. Doing great. A couple more exercises here. Be sure to breathe through all of this. Stretch the legs out in front of you here. Inhale. Next, we're going to go into a quadruped, hands and knees position again. Going to get a couple good deep breaths in this position before dropping into a child's pose. Now we're going to sit back onto our heels, stretching out in front of us and coming up on our fingertips here. This is child's pose. We're going to hold this for a while. Some good deep breaths here, stretching out through the sides and the back, really stretching as far as we can out in front of us. Holding this pose here. Good job. We're almost finished. Couple good more deep breaths. Next we're going to go to our right side. We're going to take our left hand on top of our right. We're going to stretch out through that left side. Should be feeling this in that left lat on the side of your body. Doing great. Hold it for a few more seconds. Next we're going to come back to the middle before going over to that left side by taking our right hand on top of our left. Should feel this stretch in your right side here. Keep breathing through all this. About 30 seconds left. We're doing great. Coming back to the middle here. We're going to come back up onto our hands and knees. Come back up onto our knees in a tall kneel position. A couple good deep breaths here. Next we're going to inhale and take our arms above our head. Exhale, bringing our arms back down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. One more time. Inhale, arms up, and exhale.